Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, we've got a low out in the Tasman Sea at the moment that's bringing some gale force winds to New South Wales this morning, but then it slowly starts to move out into the Tasman and it heads towards New Zealand. On the animated wind map, we've got high pressure over the North Island, centred just near the Chathams, and another big high pressure belt moving in towards the southeastern corner of Australia. This low is stuck in between them and it's got a perfect shape to it at the moment, but it is going to fall apart a wee bit as it moves into that northeast flow coming out of the back of that high pressure system. So let's take a look at those winds, because Sydney's got another windy morning. This is taken this morning at 8 o'clock Sydney time, or Eastern time. So we've still got gales brushing the coastline right up to about Newcastle. They're gusting to around about 80 or 90 k's an hour. Hopefully not too problematic, but some gusty conditions due to that low right there just offshore. In New Zealand, I was talking about that high pressure belt that's parked over the North Island and near the Chathams. Tonight's departure from normal, which is remarkably similar to last night this morning, shows that high pressure holding on to the North Island is creating for light winds, calm conditions, and colder weather. So out around Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, and Waikato, it is definitely below average again tonight. But for the rest of the country, it's either normal or warmer than average. In fact, these portions down here in the dark red, over 8 degrees above average for tonight. And we've got more rain on the way in the next few days ahead. This is the 2-day rainfall covering Wednesday and Thursday, showing some bigger totals. The biggest ones here around about 100 millimetres. That's in rainforest, so that's fairly normal. And up in the areas that have just had recent flooding, the rainfall totals are quite low, only about 30 millimetres over the next couple of days. So this is the forecast. As we go into Thursday, that low moves out into the Tasman, still stuck though between the incoming high and the other high. I was going to say outgoing, but it's barely outgoing. It's pretty much stuck there. There's a subtropical northerly flow coming down for central New Zealand and the very north, up around the far north and the top part of Northland, and that might come into Auckland a bit later on. So basically Thursday is going to be a mild day for this time of year. It still may not feel overly warm for you. As we go into Friday, in comes the rain band, but you can see what I mean about the low falling apart as it moves in. There's the rain band moving through. Patchy falls. There'll be some heavier downpours in those green shaded areas and the darker blue. Elsewhere, this is patchy and light drizzle patches, showers, not necessarily pouring with rain as we head in towards the weekend. And then that will spark another burst of rain as we go into the weekend. So this covers 3 days, starting from Friday, and some of the biggest totals are in the Nelson Ranges here. Nothing majorly huge. It's sort of around about 70, 80, maybe 90 millimetres at the highest amount. Similar story for Mount Taranaki, and elsewhere those rainfall totals aren't much. And unfortunately for Hastings, as I said yesterday, just only 5 or 10 millimetres coming up. However, overall, over the next 7 days, we do expect parts of inland Hawke's Bay to be getting, around about 30 millimetres, because the winds are going to turn more south to southeast, and that's going to drive in a number of days of showers. It's not enough to make a huge difference, but it's certainly going to be very welcome. So the weekend shapes up like this. The low in the Tasman is still there, and the high near northern New Zealand is also still there, but it moves just far enough offshore to allow more low pressure to move through. Nothing too stormy in there, but just unsettled. There's also a cold southerly coming around that high, so the temperatures will be dropping in Dunedin, Southland, parts of Otago, and then later on into Canterbury as well. By Sunday, that low pressure system is still here, but it's moving up towards northern New Zealand, and now you can see that southeasterly flow that I was telling you about coming in for places like Hawke's Bay in the days ahead and the week ahead. This is good news. This drives in wet weather. Yes, it gets colder, but you get some wet weather coming through as a result of that, and it begins on Sunday while high pressure grows further to the south. And then we get into next week, and that kind of sets up some of the forecast for next week, with those southeasterly winds driving in just a few showers. Nothing huge, but as I say, it accumulates to around about 30 millimetres or so over the next 7 days in parts of Hawke's Bay, which could need it. And for northern New Zealand, you'll feel that colder southeasterly coming in, but it'll be more of an easterly wind for Northland and Auckland and Waikato, but it's caught up in that southeast flow. So you'll find that the temperatures are down. There are a few showers coming through over the next few days next week as that easterly kicks in. And that is all from me. Oh, by the way, Australia ends on a pretty much settled note. High pressure is dominating, but those windy westerlies down here, another storm in the Southern Ocean, that's basically what spring's all about. That is all from me. We'll see you again tomorrow with our next update. And don't forget, later today, our next global weather watch update, because we're all in lockdown and we're all going a bit crazy. So let's try and focus on other things. So we've got a video coming out later today covering extreme weather going on around planet Earth for today. But that's all from me for now. We'll see you then.